Joe Rogan is Illuminati. He's a Luma gay guy. Anyone know which stream BB talked about 48 laws? I have no idea. It'll be a quick stream, hun. Adds another log to the fire. That's so true. All right, so let's talk about how to spot a liar. And just ask Amy. Like, we'll have it. People are gonna get pissed in the comment section because it'll sound like I'm boasting, but I guess I might be a little on this one. But I'm pretty good at spotting liars. Now that'll bite me in the ass. I'm not gonna make that. I'm not gonna do that brag, because that is kind of a brag, and that is one of those pride coming before the fall things. Like that. I just fucking am though. Fuck it. All right. Anyway, the way to spot a liar, the number one is a passive voice. And Neil Armstrong's only real interview, and then it's so obvious why they wouldn't let him talk anymore. There's a guy asking him questions, and notice when someone, this will be helpful for anyone. This isn't even about the moon, but like, notice when someone doesn't use the word I. Passive would be would be like saying you. Like when they're like, can you see? Man, I wish I had the transcript in front of me, but I'll just paraphrase. You'll get the idea, where it's like, so what did the stars look like when you were on the moon? He'd be like, you only saw a deep, like guttural black. Like when you add too many words, liars a lot of times are trying so hard to not lie that they will over describe things, and they rarely say I saw, I see. Those are direct. That's direct language. It's always passive. I'm inclined, or like, you'd be inclined to believe that, like those type of things. Liars also speak in the negative, because always understand that when a liar is speaking, they're always simply trying to avoid being caught in a deception. They're not trying to say anything. They're only trying to evade. It's like judo. It's like word judo. So they don't say what they saw. They say what they didn't see. And they say you can't see stars. You can't see. It's never I saw. Because when you say I saw, I did, I went, I am, I will, that is, people will hold you to that. That's why Kennedy is like, we will go to the moon. Like that's very direct language. Like evasive language is when you say like the gun went off. You don't say I shot someone. You say the gun went off. You put all the onus on the object and not yourself. Like do you know how fast you're going? The car started accelerating. No, you would a liar would say the car. Like you're always trying to take everything off you, and you're not ever going to make a statement that can later be proven to be false. And this is the biggest. It's so funny because if someone speaks clearly and strongly and with meaning, I am so much more likely to give them the benefit of the doubt as just being wrong than if someone speaks this way. The odds are really high that they are liars. Now, you have to establish a baseline, right? Where do they just talk like this all the time? Like some people are just passive. Some people, they start everything with, I think, I might feel like, or did you go to the bar? It's like, beers may have been drinking. Like some people may actually speak that way. So a baseline is, and that's why they wouldn't let Neil Armstrong talk publicly. Because if you established a baseline with the guy of how he talks, and then you show how he talks about the moon, I'm guessing it would be drastic. Like, bear in mind, and I am factoring in that like athletes, a lot of men, a lot of leaders want to give credit to the team. So I thought about that when he'd be like, we instead of I. But it wasn't the way, he wouldn't do it that way though. Like if someone's like, oh, you won the Super Bowl, like What did you do to win the Super Bowl? It's like, oh, we all worked really hard. Like that's a totally different thing. What I'm talking about with passive voice is like, could you see the stars? It's like we were unfamiliar with the terrain and didn't see what could have been stars. These aren't quotes, but it's very, very similar to that language. And that's how liars talk. You know, it also stuff like, I am fairly certain that, there's no meaning there. That's all Jordan Peterson speak, right? And another clear thing is when someone asks you a question about sensory perception, that has to start with I. If it doesn't, it's like the odds the person's lying are so high. You know, if someone's like, did you feel how, like, what did the earth look like from the surface of the moon? A non-liar would say it looked huge, or I felt. He was like, there was, I don't know. I wish I had the transcript in front of me because I don't want to make too many mistakes, but it's pretty wild. And also, when you say I don't recall, that's lawyer speak. If you had just went to the moon for the first time in human history, you wouldn't be speaking in passive language and evasive verbal maneuvers. There's no way. And so it's like, I don't recall. It's like, it's just so obvious. It's just so obvious. When you understand how liars talk, it's so fucking obvious because they stutter. They don't have a clear timeline. Oh, a big one is when you stutter on I. If someone's like, when did you know that the moon landing was successful? Like when you first stepped on the moon, what did you feel? I game over. Dude's a liar. You can stutter on a hard word or stutter on like a weird sentence. Like I just stuttered there a little bit. But when you stutter on yourself, the subject I, it means you're unwilling to even commit to you being a part of the story. Another thing liars do is they don't stick to a timeline. They're all over the place. They'll over explain something you didn't ask about. It's like, did you see the stars? It's like, you can feel the sand on your stupid moon boots. It's so obvious. So I highly suggest that you guys watch that, and it'll be a great insight into the mind of a liar. And Neil Armstrong is absolutely a liar because we didn't go to the moon, and he was the face of going to the moon, and he accepted that role of hero until the day he died. And that's pretty insane to me. And then he gave a real cryptic speech. Like there was one astronaut that became a born-again Christian and then mysteriously died of a heart attack when he contacted some guy who's like going to give an interview. It's like, that's one thing about this that is a little tricky is there's been some bodies on this. There's some Clinton action going on here. So when people say like, why has there been no whistleblowers? It's like, well, 7 have mysteriously been killed. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I find that shit very interesting. Like how liars talk. There's still 4,000 people here. Holy shit.